Hi everyone. For today's book review, we're going to be checking out The Great Atlantic Liners of the 20th Century in Color. This book is co-authored by William H. Miller and the late Anton Logvinenko. Before Anton exploded onto the social media scene through the ocean liner Facebook groups with his spectacular renderings of ocean liners, he made a name for himself colorizing beautiful ocean liner photos. And this book, published in 2012, was a great advertisement for his work and for the potential of what can be done with colorization of black and white ocean liner photos. This book is a compilation of his work covering ocean liners from 1897 right through to the 1950s, with the bulk given to the first generation of ocean liners of the early 20th century, from the Kaiser Wilhelm de Grasser right through to obviously the Olympic class, Lusitania, Mauretania, Aquitania, and then less so the Queens, and then the liners from the 50s and the 60s. This book isn't about providing new information. As William Miller himself says in his introduction to this book, this is a book about those who just enjoy reading, sitting on your deck chair, flicking through the pages and just enjoying the photos and the images on the pages. Naturally, with each photo there is a caption covering the outline history of the ship or some interesting fact or feature about that photo and that ship in that particular moment of its life. Anton enthusiastically introduces his idea of wanting to view these photos through a fresh perspective, to make these photos as accurate as possible. And you can see that through the majority of the photos, he has achieved a high level of detail. And it is beautiful to just enjoy looking at these photos. Published in 2012, we can also appreciate just how much technology has advanced since then, particularly with the advancements of AI and the ability of software to detect color information within black and white images and film. Anton was self-taught. Everything that you see he learned through trial and error, and some of his work produced some spectacular successes. My particular favorite is this one of the Mauretania on page 29. It just looks perfect. Colorization is an iffy, touchy subject, and historians in particular raise concerns about the idea of colorizing old photos. I know for most people, colorization of old photos is just an interesting exercise, and interesting to see how a ship that is only viewed in black and white would look in color. But one thing that needs to be made aware of is that within colorization, accuracy is critical. To truly understand how a ship looked, and certainly how it was viewed by those of the day, then the color reconstruction needs to be as accurate as possible. In some instances where the photo quality, the lighting conditions aren't optimal, it is quite difficult to get the shading just right. And in particular with ships where they have a subtle paint scheme, particularly the 1940s Coronia, which had 4 shades of green, depicting the ship with a white superstructure, as tends to be the case with most recent colorizations, unfortunately is inaccurate. And this is not how the ship was represented in real life, and certainly not how people who lived, crewed, and voyaged on board it saw that ship. So it is truly important to remember that when you're colorizing an image, accuracy is everything. If you do want to pick an image, pick something that has a high resolution file, and especially if it is a high resolution digital file that has been scanned from a glass plate negative. This has a considerable amount of detail and texture within the image. And if the photo has a beautiful contrast with excellent lighting, then chances are your colorization is going to be much more successful. You can also see that with colorization, you're able to play with some of the images, such as this one of the Aquitania with the beautiful background color. This is an evocative image, and again, one of Anton's most successful renderings. By choosing to depict the color of the sky in this way, we get a beautiful evocative emotion of this photo and of this image, and by extension of ocean liners in general. Something like this is considered a derivative work, and I mean derivative in a good way, in that it has been derived from an original piece of art, not that it is anything negative. And you will see that in many of the Facebook groups around ocean liners and some of the more modern colorizations, that these are what they would be classified as derivative works, because what they have done is they have taken an original black and white image and enhanced it or adapted it in some way that makes it different from the original to create an emotion, a feeling, or evoke something that is a little different, that is unique to the new work, that is very different from the original black and white. For those of you who are familiar with Steve Walker's colorizations, his renderings, and some of them are truly spectacular, fit into this work, and that is an excellent avenue for colorization because it is not duplicating the photo, it is simply reimagining it and depicting it in another way that is different and unique to the original. That is my spiel. The historian in me would love to preserve black and white images, and the time traveler in me would love to see all these beautiful historical ships in color. For those of you who just want to enjoy ocean liners in color, this is a great book to breeze through and just enjoy these images, and maybe even give you ideas about wanting to try colorization yourself. As I said, some of these are truly beautiful, and it is also with a tinge of sadness that this extremely talented young man has been lost to us through a utterly useless war. However, his digital legacy lives on. This book is a fitting and incredible legacy to pass on to future generations of ocean liner enthusiasts. For all of that, I will not rank this book. Just enjoy this book, appreciate it for the beautiful imagery, and just think about what colorization means. So there you have it. Enjoy the beautiful works of the great Atlantic liners of the 20th century and the wonderful work of the late Anton Logvinenko.